Hi everybody, this is your video. You were gone on Friday, January 24th, and I want to show you a couple things that we did so that you feel like you are ready to come back when you are able to come back. First of all, I want to remind you that our vocabulary test is coming up. It'll be Thursday the 30th, so a week from yesterday. When you get into Schoology, come here, look in these practice vocab test folder. It's the black folder here. There's your atoms and periodic table of elements vocab practice test. This is exactly what you're going to see next week. I only have 15 on here, and I don't remember why. I took one of them off, and I can't remember why. But anyway, that's it. Just 15 of them. Okay? All right, let's go in and talk about what we did today. So it's a big one. Today is a big one. We're going to start our element superhero or supervillain research project. This is a summative assessment. It's going to take probably 4 days, possibly 5, but we've got quite a lot to do, and you will have class time to work and research, so don't worry about that. The objectives, let's read those together. So it says the students will be able to analyze and model an element's physical and chemical properties by using personification to create a superhero or a supervillain inspired by their chosen element. So the key here is part of our state standards is that you need to be able to analyze and explain scientific content and also to be able to create a model. And so using superheroes as models of an element when you're talking about the physical and chemical characteristics, they just work perfectly together, perfectly. And it's just a fun thing to do, and I hope you guys enjoy doing it. It's always been a really fun one that a lot of the kids love to do. So through research, students will identify 5 physical and 2 chemical properties of the element that you choose, and then use your findings to design a comic book character that embodies these properties creatively and accurately. Activities. Here's what we did. First thing is the students chose their elements. And I want to make sure that you all see this right here. Do you see this? Do not start your research. Whoops. Don't start your research, please, until you've gotten approval from me. Each element is only able to be selected by one person. So unfortunately, since you're not in class tomorrow, you can't, we're just going to do this randomly. I've got a random name generator. And so I just spin that and it lands on a name and I say, okay, what element do you choose? They tell me that means that element is off the table for anybody else. So if you know what element you want, go ahead and email me as soon as you know. And then I can tell you if anybody's taken it. And if they haven't, then I'll write your name down for it. Otherwise, when you come back, hopefully Monday or Tuesday, I can talk with you and we can get this figured out, okay? I wanted to have the kids understand physical and chemical properties. So we watched this video. It's a real short video just to kind of explain the difference between the physical properties of matter or of an element of matter, really, and chemical properties. It's a really good short explanation because you're going to have to do research to find out, okay, here are 5 or multiple physical properties, and then there's a second section where you're going to have to write down the chemical properties. So you really need to have an understanding of the difference between the two of them. And then, let me go back here, sorry. After we watched the video, then I explained part 1 of the project. It's in the PDF is in this folder. And so let's go ahead and take a look at that. Would you please put this in your folder for atoms in the periodic table of elements and good notes? And when you are finished with that, then let me explain this. So this project is called a raft project. and it stands for role, audience, format, and topic. So your assignment is to personify one element on the periodic table, and your character's physical features and personality must relate to the real physical and chemical properties of the element. Your superhero's abilities, their superpowers, their personality, their costume, all of that can reflect physical and chemical properties. And I'll explain how to do that in the second step. We just have step 1, and that's going to be research. But let me kind of paint an overview so you know where this research is headed. So first of all, we've got your role is as a comic book author who's promoting a new comic book character at the annual Comic-Con convention. Your audience is going to be Comic-Con visitors. And so your format is you're going to create this advertising poster, and it's not going to be really a poster. It's just a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, but it's going to feature an illustration of your comic book character. And you have to type up a biography that explains his or her characteristics. It's more of a backstory, really. You're going to explain, you know how Peter Parker got bit by a radioactive spider and became Spider-Man? You're going to have the same kind of thing. Your character wasn't a superhero or a villain, and then something happened, and then they became a superhero or villain. So you're just going to tell that story. You're not telling any stories about fighting crime or being the bad guy, or there's none of that. You're just telling me how they became the superhero or the supervillain. Your topic is a new comic book hero or villain with characteristics related to the physical and chemical properties of an element on the periodic table. So basically, we're just doing part 1. That's researching your element. So step 1 is you have to choose the element. Step 2 is you need to research. Beautiful. Now I have in this folder, I have another folder right here that's links to websites. This is a really great place for you to start. It's by no means the end of it. So you can use any websites or find of these websites. You can find your own reliable website. But I would start here, and I have them in order of what I would like you to try first. You will have in your notebook, you have 2 worksheets that you're using to write down your data. Okay. You don't have that while you're gone, so you're going to have to wait till you get back to school to get started with it. But once you have your element, you can come in here. The first one is called Ducksters, and Ducksters is a super easy website to navigate. You're going to type in the name of your element right here in this search engine. And so I'm just going to do rhenium. And then if you hit search, then you're going to be able to see whether or not Ducksters has any information for you. Now, they don't have information on everything. So as you're looking through here, I've got other links, other places, but I don't see anything that Ducksters has. So I'm not going to be able to use Ducksters for this. But if I did hydrogen, do you see how hydrogen comes up here? I've got the element box, and so I can click on that. And then most of the information that you're asked about on your worksheet is just right here, and you can find it really, really simply. So the symbol, the number, atomic weight, all that stuff, characteristics and properties, where is it found on Earth? Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of information on here. Some of them have a lot of information, some of them don't have any information, and Ducksters has, it just sort of depends on the element. So you may be able to find everything you need here just at Ducksters, and that's it. Chances are, though, you're going to need something else. So let's take a look at the next website. This is the interactive periodic table of elements, and it's just going to take you to a periodic table where you're going to find your element. So mine was rhenium, which is, where's my rhenium? Right here, 75. And so I'm going to click on there. Now you're going to see that this has a lot of information, but it's also a little bit, sometimes it's hard to understand. You guys are 7th graders and this is chemistry and it can be a little bit overwhelming. I have a solution for that, and I'll show you that in just a second. So this one just has rhenium, when it was discovered, who it was discovered by, the origin of the name, like who named it, how was it named. Here's some just basic information, asking about physical and chemical properties, melting point, boiling point, density. And then here is a place where you can look for the uses and properties, the history, atomic data, and then you get into some things that are a little bit probably more than what you're going to want. However, this is what I want to show you down here. There might be some videos. There might be, like this has a this website has a podcast. So there is a podcast on rhenium. And so this is kind of some interesting information here too. And then lastly, there's a place for references. So if you want, you can go in to any of these, and those are great resources for you as well. All right. Then let's go back to this one. This is probably one of my very favorite sites for scientific videos on the periodic table of elements. This is a website from the University of Nottingham in the United Kingdom. You guys, this guy is a trip. He is so funny, and I wish I could meet him in person. He's just awesome. So this professor and his students and grad students and everybody, they have created this website, and every single one of the elements he's got some kind of a video on. Okay, so I'm going to come down to, I don't even know, I'm just going to do hydrogen again. So you are probably going to have to watch it on YouTube, so click that. I'm going to just stop this right here. They do a lot of experiments. They show you the element as it is. A lot of times even elements that are rare, they'll get access to those. And so, for example, in this one, they do some, they do an experiment with hydrogen, but look at this guy, you guys. Oh my gosh, is he just precious? Look at him.
Charged proton, which is relatively large, and an
Is he not the best? If you think of a chemistry teacher, like snapshot, that's exactly who I imagine. He cracks me up. Love watching him. What I really do, honestly, though, he doesn't, the explanations are not way over the top. Fire. And he explains what happens in these different experiments. He's just so good. And so definitely take a minute to watch that. I don't think it gives a whole lot of other information other than just sort of when you're trying to think about physical and chemical properties of your element, and just like, it's boring just to read about these elements on a page. It's really interesting to see how they're used, what they look like, and how they, different experiments that they can be used in. So that is a great website. And then I think I had one more. Okay, this one, LenTech. Now, LenTech is really great. Lots of great information. The way that this one's organized is all your elements are on the right side. And I'm going to come over here to, I found one I wanted to show you. It started with an O, and I can't remember. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have the numbers or anything on it. So you just are going to, here it is. You're just going to have to find it. So I'm going to click on this little fella. And again, here are your basic element information, and then density, melting point, boiling point, all that stuff is physical properties. Sometimes it'll have a listing that says chemical properties. sometimes this stuff is really hard to understand, and I kind of don't be afraid of that, because I have something for you that I think is going to be really helpful. So I'm just going to copy and paste this last paragraph here, because in your links, I have a last one. It's Magic School AI, and I have created a classroom for you guys. And I know everybody's like, oh, AI, oh, that's cheating. You have to use AI websites appropriately. And this one is, I am able to kind of guide you. Once you click on this link, you're going to be taken, hopefully it works. I've never done this before, so we'll have to see. But I have created 2 tools for you to be able to use. The first one is a research assistant. I'll show you what you can do with that in a second. The second one is multiple explanations. So let's get in here, and I want to show you what you can do. So you should be able to see something like this. You can copy and paste hard to understand text here, and then generate an explanation. That's no different than Amazon. Not Amazon. That's no different than Google, right? Sometimes we see this and it's like, oh, okay, but what does that mean? Look what you can do. When you've copied and pasted it, and if you read through it and you're like, I don't really understand this, like this one here. It's a metal that's known for being very strong and dense. It's often used in special applications like making hard materials and some types of jewelry. When we talk about ecotoxicity, we mean how harmful a substance can be. So it should be already written at your grade level, because that's what I've set up. However, if you get done and you're like, I still don't get it, right here in the actions, you can come in here and just say, explain this to me like I'm a 7th grader. And then push the button, and it'll rewrite it so that it's using language that is a little bit maybe easier for you to understand. So, like, here's this. What is osmium? And it makes it a little bit easier for you guys to understand. It puts it in context that you all can understand. When you're reading a text in language arts or social studies or science, I want you to read and be challenged by that. But when you guys are learning about elements and chemicals and stuff, it can be a little bit overwhelming, because remember, we're talking about atoms and you can't see those things. So this hopefully is a tool for you that you'll be able to use to help yourselves really truly understand some things. Okay? All right. I'm going to go back out of here. And I think that's it. Once, if you get all the way through here and you still feel like you don't have all of your information, then you can come back into Magic School AI, and I'm going to cancel this. Go over here to Research Assistant, and hopefully this is the screen that you see. You can describe what you're researching. So let's say you've got all of the information on page 1 that talks about the physical properties and chemical properties of your element. And page 2 talks more about like interesting facts or fun facts. And so I could say, what are some fun and interesting facts about rhenium? And then you should get a response. And again, it's written at your age level, so you'll notice the language is a little bit more casual. So nice little information here. What I love about this is after it sort of gives you some information, this is what makes it different than Google. After it gives you some information, then it also gives you some prompts. So for more information, there are 4 more websites that I can go to. Sometimes it'll give you a link to more videos or to, I wonder, I'm curious. Can you show me a computer simulation of rhenium? Let's see what they show. That's just interesting. Oh, nothing. Boo. Oh, okay. So there's a podcast, facts. I think I've already looked at that. That's that Royal Society of Chemistry. Anyway, whatever you can think of, you can type in here. I would suggest you use this instead of Google because it's a little bit more. You're gonna, if you just type it into Google, you might get great information. You're gonna copy it down, but you still have no idea what you're talking about. This will bring it down to your age and grade level so you can understand it. Okay. All right. Send me an email. Let me know what you're thinking about for your element. And I'll talk to you later.